The show is really awesome. We're coming straight from Austin. Let's talk sports.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports. Last episode of the semester. I'm Dan Hurwitz. Samir's not in today. Taking his spot are the Daily Texan volleyball beat writers. Alongside me is Austin Lamanthe and Shabab Shadiki. Both of these young men have been watching the volleyball team throughout the year and are pretty much the go-to guys when it comes to knowing about Texas volleyball. The NCAA tournament begins on Friday night at the Gregory Gym, where Texas will host UTSA in the first round. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a little point-counterpoint, maybe stir up a little argument here, cause some controversy, maybe some fireworks start exploding. I hope, I'll break up the punches if things have to go. We got Andre Johnson here and Cortland Finnegan. So we'll see how it goes. So first of all, first point, we want to discuss is with the Texas football team struggling this year, and their season's over, of course. One thing I want to say is the Texas volleyball team is the best team on the University of Texas campus. Austin, what are your thoughts on that?
Dan, I think you nailed that one on the head. The Texas volleyball team is definitely the number one team on campus right now. They're just running through the Big 12. They've won 16 matches in a row. They're the hottest team out there. 23-5 this year. That's 82% win percentage. I think that's pretty good. They lost 5 games. What did the football team win 5? That says something there. They got the Big 12 Player of the Year, Julianne Fawcett, the senior. She's really been carrying this team lately. They got the Big 12 Co-Coach of the Year, it's Jared Elliott. So top to bottom, they're a solid team. They've only lost 1 time at home, so they're holding down the home court, 15-1 at home. You saw what happened with the football team at home. They didn't protect this house, and the Longhorns have really taken the gym at Gregory for their own.
Shabab, your thoughts?
Well, Dan, I love the idea of the volleyball team being the most fun to watch, but no, I can't agree with the fact that they are the top team. Here we have a swimming program that's produced year in and year out. Right now, they're the #1 ranked team in the country. They're coming off a national championship win. They've got 10 championships under Coach Eddie Reese. They produce Olympians on an almost regular basis. You've got a team loaded with current and future Olympians. And so, yes, volleyball may be the most fun team to watch on the campus right now, but no, they're not the best one.
Any other thoughts? A rebuttal?
I'd say, hey, they're number 6 in the country. They're on a hot win streak. They've got the 9th overall seed in the NCAA tournament. They were 1 point away from winning the championship last year. They've got a more balanced team this year. They're probably going to make a run again. So I think right now they're the best team, definitely. Swimming's done a lot of that in the past. What have you done for me lately? Volleyball team's been hot lately, so I'm going to give it to them.
Speaking of that 9th seed, we'll move on to our next topic. Texas was given the 9th seed in the NCAA tournament. How many seeds are there? 16?
Yes.
So
9th overall seed.
9th overall, 64 teams. So Shabab, is Texas deserving of their number 9 seed?
Yes, and I say they should have gotten a higher one. Well, first of all, the 2 things I've been cited often for Texas' number 9 seed, even though they're ranked number 6 by the AVCA, is one is the depth. The team has been plagued by injuries all year long, and they've got about 8 players in their rotation year in, especially toward the end of the season. But one of those players is Lauren Dixon, who's playing her 5th year. She's been able to fill in at a moment's notice. She's working as a serving specialist, but has filled in for Amber Roberson as an outside hitter. So depth is obviously one concern that the selection committee had, but clearly Texas has been able to push through without that. The other is the RPI, which measures how Texas did against other ranked opponents. And Texas RPI is actually a lot lower than most people would think, but that's mainly because they lost their early season games against Penn State and Florida and Stanford, an early loss against Nebraska, not to mention A&M. But those all happened in the past. Right now you're coming off a hot win streak. They've got 15, 16 in a row. Right now it doesn't really matter anymore. Going into the rankings, it doesn't matter if they're number 9 or number 5. In the end, this is a tough road to the Final Four, but whether or not their ranking matters isn't an issue.
Austin?
I agree with Shabab to a certain point. Yes, they are deserving of their 9th overall ranking, but if anything, you could say maybe they should be have been a little bit further down the ladder. You spoke of the RPI. Texas RPI is 12 right now. So they have 12 RPI, 9th overall seed. there are 3 teams with better RPIs who are lower overall seeds. That's Dayton, Minnesota, and Hawaii. So you look at 3 teams ahead of Texas in the RPI, but behind Texas in the NCAA tournament breakdown overall standings. So I think they're right. They're a number 9 team. Look at 2 teams in the Austin Regional is Illinois and Florida. Florida, of course, is the number 1 overall seed. Illinois is right ahead of Texas. They're number 8. Texas lost to both of these teams. They lost to Illinois at home earlier in the season. Illinois swept them. So I think, they're right to be behind Illinois, behind Florida, 2 teams they've lost to. They're also behind Nebraska, which is fair. Both teams split the home and home there. So I think, 9 is a good seed. I think that's about where they are. Last year they were much higher, of course. They were more expected to go further. So I think 9 is indicative of where the volleyball team is right now, and I think that's where they should be.
All right, on to our next topic. As you mentioned, Texas to get advanced to the Final Four like they did last year in Tampa, where they lost in the championship match to Penn State. To get back to that road, I believe it's in Kansas City this year.
Kansas City.
They would have to go through, like you said, Illinois and Florida.
That's right.
So, can Texas do that? Are they capable of making it back to the Final Four for another year? Shabab?
I say yes. Currently, they're one of the hottest teams in the country. They got a 15-game win streak. Only Florida's of the ranked team, only Florida and University of Northern Iowa have win streaks longer than that. But right now, they are playing at their best. If you take the derivative as they would in math, they're on the up. And everyone's playing. Not only that, you have to consider that all of them are playing at their best. You have Julianne Fawcett, who's coming off Player of the Year honors at the Big 12. You have Michelle Coker, who's been able to set the ball in all different angles to all the different players. Amber Roberson is hot. Jen Doris has found her groove. Rachel Adams is back to her early season form. This team, all of them have come together, and now they're playing at the best that they've had all season. Finally, I think the main reason is the road to the Final Four goes all the way through Gregory Gym. This is a home court. You have to win 4 matches to get there. All 4 will take place at Gregory Gym. The first match is always the one where you get your nerves out of the way. Texas only lost 1 match at home, and that was to Illinois in the beginning of the season. They've been undefeated after that. Playing Illinois and getting rematches against Illinois and Florida at home should be a huge boon for the Longhorns' hopes to get to the Final Four.
Austin?
Well, first of all, they haven't been undefeated since the Illinois loss. We'll clear that up. They've lost twice since then to drop 1 to A&M and Nebraska. But they lost to Illinois. They were swept at home. That was earlier in the season. Texas has gotten better, but you know what? The other teams get better too. So I'm sure Illinois has definitely stepped their game up. They're going to be coming here looking to beat the Longhorns again. They're going to have a lot of confidence when they face them. That's assuming both teams make it to the 3rd round of Sweet 16. It looks like that's going to happen. They're 2 very solid clubs. Doesn't look like anyone's going to challenge them in this bracket. And even if they manage to scrap their way past Illinois, they've got the number 1 overall team in the bracket. Kind of got a bad draw there with Florida. They're definitely cream of the crop by far. Texas also lost to Florida earlier. It was a close game. It was 3-2. It took 5 sets, but you're looking at that would be the 4th game. They have a very short bench. It's been a long season. When you get into tournament time, you've got back-to-back games each weekend. So I think the fatigue might set in. If somebody goes down, who's going to step up? They've had a lot of injuries, so there's not much room for error for Texas in this one. Last year they were expected to go there. This year they're not expected to go. So it's not a senior-laden team either. It's a very young, very green team, so I don't think they get it done this year.
Well, there's a lot to look forward to these next couple weeks as the tournament, begins on Friday night and progresses throughout, winter break. Keep an eye open for that. Thanks for watching this semester, and, Samir and I will be back next semester. Have a happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whatever it may be. See you next time. Thanks.